welcome to another video with me, the display lady. I kind of asked you on Instagram what sort of content you wanted to see coming up, and this was one of the requested videos. And I also asked you if you wanted to see any how-to guides coming on my channel. So I'm not going to do the how-to guides instead of my normal content, I'm going to do them as well as. So my how-to guides are going to be coming every Wednesday, and it starts this Wednesday, and it's all about how to create pom-poms. If you don't know what a pom-pom is, this is what one looks like. Ta-da! So if you want to know how to make yourself one of these using 3 things, tune in on Wednesday on my channel. You can hit the bell icon and you'll be notified when that video gets posted. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. So, without any further ado, let's get into this video, which is how to prepare for the first day of school. So, for most of us here in the UK, the first day is fastly approaching and the holidays are sadly coming to an end. I say sadly because it's nice as a teacher to kind of catch up with friends and reinvigorate and all of those things, so that's why I say that. So, ways to prepare for the first day. So my first tip number 1 is going to be your classroom. Make sure your classroom is organised and as kind of ready as you can make it. So things need to be labelled in your classroom. The children's trays, where are they going to keep their books? You need to have kind of thought about the child's kind of routine when they come into your classroom and what are you expecting them to do? Where are you expecting them to go? Where is their stuff going to go? All of that kind of stuff you need to have thought about. You need to be prepared for all of that. So your classroom needs to be set up and organised. I like to use magazine files to organise my books. Some people use trays or drawers. You might use, some people have used trays in the middle of the table where they just kind of put the tray out for that group. So that might be an option for you if you like that idea. Other things to do with your classroom you need to make sure are organised are things like, have you got everything you need in terms of what your school expects in there? So do they expect a reading display? Is that there? Do they expect classroom behaviour display? Is that there? You know, think about all of those kinds of things. You can usually find that out from another member of staff who will know that kind of thing if you're not sure. But I would make sure all of that is organised before the first day, for sure. So the second thing I think you need to prepare before you go back to school is you really need to have communicated with someone at school, especially if you're new to school or you're moving schools, to ask them, is there anything that you need to be planning? So I've planned reading, my other team teachers have planned writing and maths. We just split the 3 core subjects between us, and then we plan our wider curriculum in teams. So I've had DT to plan, so I need to make sure that that planning is done and on our shared point. Those are the planning responsibilities. If you don't have a training day on your first day, A, I'm shocked. How do you cope? And B, you really need to kind of, I would say, make sure you're emailing or meet up with someone to really discuss what that first day is going to look like. You need a plan for, first, we're going to do this. Then it's going to be reading, I'm teaching this. Then it's writing, I'm teaching this. Then it's maths, I'm teaching this. At playtime, do I have a playtime duty? How can I find that out? Well, a member of your senior leadership team should know the playground rota by now, so they should really be able to tell you if it's your playground duty. They may think it's kind of an irrelevant question, but I disagree. I think it is a relevant question because you need to know how organised you need to be. So, for example, if I'm on playground duty, which is Monday for me, and Thursday, but we'll breeze by it. Mondays, for example, I like to make sure that I'm kind of packing up my reading with enough time to make sure my math sheets are on my table. So 5 minutes or so at the end of the session, I will give a child the job of, can you just put these math sheets on the table, or I'll do it if they're still working. Just make sure that when we come back in from playtime, I've not been able to put the sheets out, but the children expect the sheets there. So I need to make sure that's done. So it's just planning that ahead, making sure that everything's organised. So in my Monday tray, actually it'll be Wednesday for me because that's the first day for the children, but for example, in my Monday tray, first day back, I want to make sure I've got all of my printing organised. I want to make sure I've got it for the whole day. It needs to be there. Even if you've not done Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday or whatever, you're not that super organised, that's fine, but you need to make sure that that Monday's tray or that Thursday tray has, or whatever you're going to do to organise it, has got all of your stuff in for that day. And that will really set your mind at ease as, right, all my printing is there, I'm organised, you know, make sure there's extra couple of copies of things in case, you know, the kids don't do it quite how you would like it, or they mess up and they want to start again. Account for all of those things. Make 5 extra copies. That's also another tip there for you. Bonus tip, make 5 extra copies of all the sheets, just in case. So tip number 3 for how to get ready for the first day back is to make sure you've rested. Like, I'm guilty of this, I really struggle with this, but do make sure you've spent some time not worrying about what you're going to do next year, and some of your holiday you have actually spent resting and catching up with your family and your friends, because that autumn term is a long slog to Christmas, and I'd love to sugarcoat it and I'd love to say, oh, autumn term, so fabulous, but actually, like, autumn term I find personally is quite hard work, because you're getting to know the kids, you don't know them yet, they don't know you, even if you've been at that school, they don't know you, so it's really important to kind of take some time for yourself during the holidays and, you know, try and enjoy yourself, because that autumn term's coming, and whether you like it or not, it's going to be hard work. Okay. Number 4, the fourth way I would recommend for you to prepare for September is, or the first day of school, is to have read the texts that your children are going to be studying. So in reading, we're doing The Guard Dog, The Poet's Dog, and The Firework Maker's Daughter. There are our first 3 texts. So Autumn 1, Autumn 2, Spring 2. All of them I've planned, so obviously I have read them. But my team teachers also need to have read them. It's kind of no good to go into a teaching sequence of a book that you've never read. So that's like a tip for teaching reading. Read the books ahead of time. Read them now while you've got time, because during term time I don't have time to read. Even though I love reading, I don't always have time to read. So that's a tip, get your reading done now. If there's any books you want to read them. Tip 5, in the same vein as making sure you read the reading text, make sure that, you know, you're requesting the planning in advance if you're not doing it. So I've requested the planning from my team in advance, so A, I need to check it because I need to quality assure that planning, and B, I also need to make sure I know what we're teaching. I need to make sure that, you know, there's no grammar or spelling mistakes in there, because we all know, like, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody makes grammar or spelling mistake here and there. It's not a big deal, but you need to make sure you've checked it and you're happy with what you're teaching. So if I'm teaching conjunctions, coordinating, subordinating, well, do I know what they are? Do I know how I'm going to teach that to the children? Now in the summer is the perfect time to figure out your spag, because during term time, trying to teach yourself something and teach the kids it is going to be quite a challenge, especially if you're early on in your teaching career. So I would definitely recommend making sure you know what you are teaching. Tip number 6, in terms of prep, I would really be thinking about if I've got any SEND, SEN children in my class and what provision it is that they're going to require. Because the last thing I want to be doing is chasing my tail on Monday morning because little Timmy needs his own personal then, now, next board, and I haven't printed and laminated that, and I haven't got all the cards, and I haven't got the Velcro, and I really would like to not have that kind of stress on the first day back. So try and find out about the SEN children in your class and if there's any additional things that they require to support their learning, because you do not want to go into your first day feeling like, I've already failed Timmy because I didn't have a then, now, next board, which is easily kind of avoided at the end of the day. So really try and think about the additional needs in your classroom and what other things you're going to need kind of above and beyond the normal things. A visual timetable is always really key to have in your classroom. You kind of need it for all the children anyway. I've got a Display Lady Classic coming your way soon, so if you've not got a visual timetable yet, try and hang on for me. Bear with me, I am getting the pack sorted, but I want it to be perfect for you. So the visual timetable that you have seen is coming. I have teased them on my Instagram, so it is coming, I promise, and yeah, fully editable as well. So visual timetable, yes, get one of those if you don't have one yet. I think we're on tip number 7 now to prepare for your first day of school. And I always like to pick a nice outfit for my first day of school. It just makes me feel kind of like ready and nice and professional and all of those things. So try and go do a little bit of shopping. It doesn't have to cost a lot. Primark's fine for work clothes, or Asda. Asda's a personal favourite of mine for work clothes. And get yourself a nice outfit for your first day so you feel like, right, on my first day, I know what I'm wearing. It's like one less stress to think about that morning. Planning your outfit out in advance, always helpful. Yeah, so my tip number 7 is plan your outfit in advance. Tip number 8 is seating plan. Make sure you have really thought about the logistics of where each child is going to sit in your class. You may not know their abilities too well at the start, so you may just have to go on what you've gauged from either your transition days or what the previous teachers have told you, but you'll soon get to grips and soon decide, oh, Johnny does not want to be sitting next to Lucy or whatever. So make sure that you've got a seating plan, and I would do like little name cards or something to put in the places. Laminated's always nice because if you do it on post-it notes, they like screw them up and it's really irritating. Just me? Okay. Put them in their places, and that way if they're laminated like cards, you can just move them around, or a piece of cards less likely than a post-it note to fly off somewhere. But yeah, definitely think about your seating plan ahead of the first day. Don't turn up on Monday morning and think, oh God, where are they all going to sit? So really have thought about your table layout and where the children are going to sit before that first day comes around, because otherwise you are going to panic about that. And the children are all going to walk in your room and you're going to go, oh, I don't know where you're all supposed to sit. I completely forgot about that. Don't let that happen. Make sure you've put out all the cards and just say, just go find your name, go find your seat, go find your tray. Let them do a little bit of exploring on their first day as well, because it's usually going to be a new classroom, a new environment. They need to figure out where to go and what to do as well. So just kind of let them have a little explore of, oh, my tray's here, and oh, I sit here, and things like that. And they'll feel more at ease as well then too. So yeah. Okay, tip number 9 for your first day of school is I would get all the PowerPoints, flip charts, notebooks, whatever I need for the day open on my laptop. I would also check that the board is working, I can plug it in, I can project onto the board, because the last thing you want to do is you take the register, blah, 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 okay, we're all ready to start, whatever the first subject is, say reading, whatever, and I come to put my screens on and oh dear, the board's not connected to my laptop, or oh dear, I don't know how to duplicate my screen or whatever. So make sure you've checked that ahead of time. If you're playing a video that day or anything that requires sound, check the sound. You'll just feel so much more relaxed. It gives you something to do that morning as well when you're panicking a little bit, probably a little bit anxious, a little bit stressed. So do make sure that all your equipment is working that you will require for the day in terms of technology, because the last thing you need is a technology nightmare on your first day teaching. Especially if you're a new teacher. I mean, I would probably just wing it back like now because, but as a new teacher, it would have stressed me out so much if that wasn't working. So check your equipment is another tip before the first day. Tip number 10, for your first day of school is to try, and I say this kind of without sarcasm, but knowing that it's never going to happen, so I'm going to say it, try and get a good night's sleep. I know what you're thinking. Yeah, right, because every single, I'm going into my 8th year of teaching this time, and every single Sunday night before I go back to school on Monday, and our kids don't even come in till Wednesday, I can't sleep at all. There's no point. I don't know why I don't just do an all-nighter, because I can't sleep, so it's actually no point in even bothering. But try and get a good night's sleep is my tip, because you'll feel better for it. I know you'll feel stressed, you'll feel anxious. Maybe try some of those sleep apps or those The Headspace one's really good for kind of meditation and kind of relaxing in bed. I sometimes try that if I'm struggling to sleep. Reading if you're struggling to sleep as well. But really do try and get a good night's sleep on the Sunday before you go back to school. And I know that's easier said than done. So in lieu of that, I will give you a bonus tip of number 11 instead of my garbage number 10, which is never going to happen. A bonus tip number 11 is to make sure that you have got all the important school dates in your diary. I said this in my prep video, I'm pretty sure, but it's really important that you've got things in your diary that are school events, especially if it's after school or it's kind of a bit above the norm. For example, I don't usually put staff meetings in my diary. I'm assuming there's a staff meeting on a Wednesday unless I am told otherwise. However, if it's a twilight and I'm going to be there later, I like to put that in my diary because I need to let my husband know I'm going to be home like much later today, or I've got this twilight, or I've got this meeting, or whatever. Things like Christmas productions. Do you have a Christmas production? I know it's September. You need to think about that right now. So my key phase, we have a Christmas production. I really should be spending some time right now figuring out what are we going to do for this Christmas production, because I've got to order the script, I've got to make photocopies of it. The children really need it before half term. So things like that. Do you have a Christmas production? What else? What other events have you got? Do you need to plan a trip? Do you need to do a risk assessment? All of those things you do need to be thinking about now, because you are not going to go on a trip without, you've really planned that out. So, and governors tend to need the kind of risk assessment and stuff and the permission 2 weeks before at least. So you really do need to think about that. Try not to be too lastminute.com. I'd love to say I've never been guilty of being lastminute.com, but that would be a lie. So these things happen. But yeah, do put the events in your diary, in your calendar, whatever you use. I use the Positive Teacher Company. My diary is from there this year. I will link it below for you. I love her diaries, and I'm hoping it's going to keep me super duper organised this year, because with the extra responsibilities that I've got this year, I really need to be. I know a lot of you have asked me about like leadership and that kind of video. I have been on the SLT for the last 2 years now, but this is my first year as actual assistant head. So I will film those videos, but probably when I've actually figured it out myself. I don't want to give you any false advice. Yeah, so if you want to stick around for my next video, which is coming next Saturday, my next sit down video, I've got my how-to guide on Wednesday. Next Saturday is going to be all about how to survive teaching year 6. So stay tuned if you're interested in finding out about how to survive year 6. That's it for this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already and hit the like button. If you want any video requests, leave me a comment with your suggestion. I'm happy to make whatever videos you would like. And I hope you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one. Bye!